So you've tried keto and it didn't work for you. Perhaps it worked for a little bit of time, you got some results, but you weren't able to sustain it. Or you're interested in trying keto and you want to make sure that you're doing it the right way. Either way, you're in the right place because today I'm going to break down for you the 7 biggest mistakes that people make on keto that either prevent them from getting the results that they desire or cause them to quit altogether. So, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jose Gonzalez. I am the Keto Master Chef. Been a professional chef for over 25 years, and for most of my life, I struggle with health and weight. Since adopting a ketogenic lifestyle, I've managed to lose 100 pounds in 5 months. I've helped hundreds of people lose thousands of pounds. And not just that, but also help people prevent and reverse diseases like diabetes, arthritis, hypertension, autoimmune disease, and other inflammatory conditions. So let's get into it. Oftentimes I meet people and, they find out what I do and they're like, oh, keto. Yeah, I'm familiar with keto. I did keto, but keto doesn't work for me. It's one of the things that I hear the most. Well, let me tell you something. If keto didn't work for you, you wouldn't even be alive today. What do I mean by that? Many people don't know this, but every baby that's in a mother's womb is in a ketogenic diet. What does that mean? Doesn't matter what the mother eats, the child, the infant, the fetus is in keto because every cell in your body needs cholesterol to develop and to function. When a baby is born, if the mother is breastfeeding, which is the appropriate human diet for a newborn baby, breast milk is also 100% keto. Okay. Again, like I said, every atom in your body, every cell in your body needs fat and cholesterol to function and develop. So let's get into these 7 biggest mistakes that people are making. Now, number one is people are afraid of eating fat. Okay. We've been programmed, we've been indoctrinated, we've been taught erroneously that fat is unhealthy for you, that you shouldn't avoid fat, that you shouldn't eat the skin on a chicken, or anything like that, that you don't want to have fatty foods, that you don't want to have fried foods. So that is not true. It's a mis it's misinformed. Okay, people are misinformed. They're being given bad information. Now, it is true that there are many, many, many unhealthy fats on the market. In fact, many of the fats that people think are healthy, like canola oil, like plain olive oil, and oils like that, are actually very unhealthy for you. They inflame your gut. They have an unhealthy ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids, which are going to wreak havoc on your health and your weight loss goals. So in keto, we want to focus on healthy fats. I'm talking about 100% extra virgin olive oil, 100% extra virgin coconut oil, 100% avocado oil, butter, beef tallow, ghee, bacon grease, duck fat, animal fats, and real healthy fats. Okay. But people have an aversion to eating fat because we've been taught for so long through our parents, our grandparents, society, whatever, maybe even one of your healthcare professionals, that eating fat is unhealthy for you. Now, it is true that in the presence of a carb or sugar glucose diet and consuming fats, that's going to cause health issues. But when you're on keto, you don't have to worry about that. When you're doing a low carb lifestyle, you're no longer going to be operating and getting your energy from glucose or sugar. You're going to be getting it from fat, from ketones. And so, again, this is a huge mistake I see a lot of people make. Even though they're doing low carb, they're doing low carb, low fat. And that's just a recipe for disaster because your body can either use sugar for energy, which is carbs, which is glucose, or it can use fat for energy, which is ketones. Okay. But if you're doing low carb and you're not getting enough fat, you're going to feel terrible. And this causes a lot of people to quit and think that keto did not work for them. Now, mistake number 2 is not getting enough salt. Again, this is another big lie that has been purported by the healthcare industry, by doctors, by all types of people. And perhaps your mom or dad told you this. I know my mom used to say to me, hey, don't put that much salt on your food. That's not good for you. But unfortunately, we're given bad information. Okay. Salt is very healthy for you. Now, there are salts on the market which I wouldn't consume, like table salt. You want to look at your salt and make sure that the only ingredient is salt. But when I say salt, I'm not just talking about seasoning your food with salt. I'm talking about using real forms of salt, sea salt, kosher salt. There's a brand that I love, which is called Redmond's Real Salt, which comes from the mountains in the salt caves in Utah. So you want to focus on having real salt, because when I'm talking about salt, I'm talking about getting sodium, chloride, magnesium, and potassium. Okay. And so if you're not using a good quality salt, you're not going to get these minerals that you need. For some people, they might have to take potassium chloride and supplement that with real sea salt. Okay, if you're cramping at night when you're asleep, when you're in bed, it's because you're not getting enough salt, specifically enough magnesium. So you might need to get some magnesium drops or something to supplement it. So if you ever had cramps before or are dealing with cramps right now when you sleep, that's an easy fix. Get some magnesium. Okay, so big mistake number 3, and this right here is a doozy. That is, people do keto, but they compare their results to other people. That is a recipe for disaster, not just in keto, but in anything in life. If you're comparing your progress, your journey to someone else's, you might find yourself often disillusioned, because, you know, everybody's body is different. You don't know other people's stress levels. You don't know if people are on medications, or you perhaps might be on medication. You don't know necessarily how often someone is working out or how their metabolism functions. If you take a 20-year-old woman and a 40-year-old woman and a 60-year-old woman, or a 20-year-old man and a 40-year-old man and a 60-year-old man, their metabolisms are very different. And so their results are going to be different. Okay. As men and women are very different in this case. I've coached a lot of couples, and the women often get frustrated because their husbands just lose weight and get dramatic results so quickly. But the reason for that is that weight loss is not about calories in, calories out. This has been debunked in numerous studies. I can't believe that this nonsense is still, being spread by people. But weight gain and weight loss is not about calories, because not all calories are created equal. 100 calories of broccoli is not the same as 100 calories of soda or Snickers bar, right? There's not the same. So if you're having 1,000 or 2,000 calories of sugar, as opposed to having 1,000 or 2,000 calories of quality proteins, healthy fats, and vegetables, they're not the same. Weight loss is a result. Weight gain, weight loss, being healthy is a result of hormone optimization. So carbs obviously spike your insulin, which is a hormone. Stress produces cortisol, which is a hormone, right? A lot of people eat the right things and are doing the right things, but their stress level is too high. So don't compare your journey to anyone else's journey. Focus on yourself, whether it's with the keto diet or anything in life, and you're going to be a lot happier. Now, number 4, biggest mistake that I see people see. And again, this is another huge mistake. These are all big mistakes. And if you're making one of these or multiple one of these, you're going to struggle to see continued success, and it's going to cause you to get frustrated and want to quit and have you thinking that keto is not working for you. But in fact, that's not the case at all. So, biggest mistake number 4 is snacking. One thing that people do is that they equate the way that they eat when they're eating carbs and sugar and on a glucose diet to the experience of being on keto. They come in with these preset notions, and the one of the biggest questions that I get from people when I'm customizing their meal plan, when they're coming into our program or coming into the way of keto, of eating keto, they say, okay, well, what things can I snack on? You see, that ideology is it works when you're on carbs because carbs make you hungry all the time, right? And so you may not either have the finances or the time to have 4, 5, 6 meals a day. Okay. And so people think about snacking, they think about grazing. But in general, that's something terrible to do. Okay. Because you're not allowing your body to fast to use the stored up energy that it already has. But secondly, it's not something that we do in keto. So when people come into our program, the first week, 2 weeks at the most, I do give them appropriate snacks that if they find themselves hungry that they could go to. But even before going to that, I give them some tips, right? On you want to make sure that you're actually hungry. Sometimes we're triggered by our environment, by our habits, right? You might be used to having a 2, 3 o'clock snack. You might see a commercial or someone comes into your office or home and they heat up some food and now the smells are making you hungry. A lot of times people think that they're hungry because they're dehydrated. Okay. Or back to step number 2, mistake number 2, they're not getting enough salt. And so they have a salt deficiency, a sodium deficiency, a potassium, chloride, magnesium deficiency, and their body interprets that with the feeling of hunger. Okay. And so you want to graze on something, you want to snack. But snacking is one of the biggest things that's going to stall your progress and inhibit you from getting to the goal weight or the health goal that you have. Now, number 5, biggest mistake that I see, people having too small portion sizes. My clients, the people in our program, love their experience because a lot of these keto enthusiasts and quote unquote influencers will tell you, oh, you need to, count your macros and for your body weight and size, you need to have, you need to eat this. I'll be honest. When I first started and was learning about keto, I believed that and I gave the same advice, but I quickly learned that that's not the case at all. Okay. I advise my clients, eat when you're hungry, making sure that you're actually really hungry, that you're just not triggered by your environment or lack of salt or sodium, that eat when you're hungry and eat until you're full. Okay. Eat until you're full. I mentioned the biggest mistake, number 1, is people not getting enough fat, being scared of fat. So a lot of times when my clients say to me, I ate and I felt good, I was full, but then I was hungry a few hours later. This is when the idea, the trigger to snack comes in. And so what I say to them, great, tomorrow when you have that meal, have more fat. I'm not talking about liquid fat. I'm not talking about just adding more oil or drinking oil. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about quality food sources that have fat, like avocados, which also has magnesium and potassium. Okay. By the way, we've been taught that bananas are a source of potassium. Never eat a banana. If you're looking for potassium, it's one of the worst things that you can do is all sugar. And you would have to eat like a banana tree to perhaps get a little bit of the potassium. Okay. It's a myth. So, again, portion size, right? People want to restrict their portion because they think, and also that, that can trigger cortisol. It can trigger that stress hormone because your body feels like we're not getting enough food. So eat when you're hungry, eat until you're full, get plenty of salt to taste, right? If your food tastes bland, it needs more salt. If it tastes salty, you added too much salt, right? Salt to taste, and make sure you're getting enough fat with each meal because this is going to keep you full and satiated for a longer period of time. Now, number 6, biggest mistake that people do. Okay. They rely a lot on processed foods and get tricked by food manufacturers who are in the business of making money. Okay. So sometimes people are, some people will tell you, oh, you can just count net carbs, right? Or you might find a food product, something in a bag, in a box, in a can that says on the label, 7 net carbs. And you think like, oh, great, I can have, 3 servings of this. But food companies are very tricky, very slick, okay, very sly in terms of how they market their food, how they package their food, and how they label it. Okay, so oftentimes I've seen this a lot when people say, I've been doing keto, but I'm not getting the results. In fact, sometimes I feel like I'm bloated, like I'm fat, and I ask them, well, what are you eating? Oh, well, I have this, I have these keto bars. No, okay, one ingredient foods, real foods, okay, not processed foods, not foods with 14, 15 ingredients, not foods that say keto this, keto that on the label. Again, food manufacturers are very tricky in terms of how they market and package and label food. And so you don't want to count net carbs. You want to count total carbs. This is one of the biggest mistakes that people make. They see something that has 16 carbs, and then it has 16 grams of carbs, and then it has 10 grams of fiber. And they think, oh, this is only 6 net carbs. No. Okay. No. Count total carbs and you will get the right results. Now, the last one, and this is probably the most important. I was going to preface this video at the very top by letting you know that this was the most important, but this is probably the biggest mistake that I see people make. All of these mistakes are going to inhibit your progress. They're going to cause you to be frustrated and make you want to quit. But this right here is probably, in my opinion, and working with hundreds of people for the last 5 years, the biggest mistake that I see people make. And that is that they try to do it alone. Okay. I've talked about this in other videos, right? A lot of people want to lose weight. A lot of people want to get healthy. They want to reverse diabetes. I was diabetic. I reversed my diabetes through diet, through keto. But a lot of times what we see as the problem is not really the problem. What we see as the problem is just a symptom of the problem. What do I mean by that? Sometimes people want to lose belly fat, and there's a video on this channel about how to lose belly fat fast. Sometimes people are dealing with diabetes. There's a video on this channel about the diabetic diet. Sometimes people, want to lose weight because they want to feel sexier in their clothes. They want to feel more confident. Maybe they're a coach, they're in a position where they're speaking to the public. They're a realtor, they're a waiter, they're whatever it is, and they would just want to have more confidence, feel more alive, feel, like their body matches who they are on the inside, right? And so they miss this part here completely. All right. But if you get this, you're on your way to a successful keto journey. So the biggest mistake that people make is that they try to do it alone. Okay. And like I said, we treat the symptom. We think that the symptom, we think that the problem is the diabetes, that the problem is the high blood pressure, that the problem is the big belly. That's only the symptom. The real problem is a sugar addiction. And when we think about someone who has an addiction to something, be it alcohol, be it gambling, be it whatever, it makes sense that when that person is trying to recover, right, or break that habit, break that addiction, that they have some type of support, that they have a sponsor, that they join a community of other people who are also trying to do the same thing. Because going at it alone is probably the single biggest thing that's going to prevent you from having actual success. And even if you happen to have some success, from actually being able to keep it long term. You have to plug into a community. You have to plug into someone who can guide you, who can keep you accountable. Maybe even it's just someone who's going to do it, with you. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's someone who knows no more about keto than you do, but they have the same goal to change their life and get healthy. Okay, you don't want to do it alone. I mean, think about when people the idea of a workout buddy. Workout buddies are so powerful because people struggle with self motivation. People struggle, if you're someone who's not consistently working out, if you're someone who's not consistently eating healthy, that means that you already have the habits of not working out and not eating healthy. So when you make the decision, hey, I'm going to do this, it becomes challenging because your body's already programmed. It's already used to one lifestyle. And now here you come, wanting to disrupt it, right? Switch things up, and your body is not comfortable. Okay. Even though you know that what you're doing is good for you, it's beneficial, and it's something that you desire, Your body does not like to feel uncomfortable. All right. It wants to maintain homeostasis. It wants to keep you safe and comfortable. So when you start changing your routine, it's going to feel unnatural and you're going to be challenged by that. But by having that workout buddy, or in this case, that keto buddy, whether it's someone that's guiding you, or whether it's just someone who's doing it with you because they're in the same position as you, that right there is going to be one of the single biggest determining factors in whether you're actually successful in achieving the goal that you desire in the present and long term. So, guys, there you have it. 7 biggest mistakes that people make when they come into the ketogenic lifestyle. Please, if you know someone who's tried keto, thinking of doing keto, or just someone that wants to get healthy, please share this video with them, because this information right here could be the difference between them trying, failing, getting frustrated, not getting results, and actually doing it the right way so they can live the life that they desire. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.